Why isn't your son here?
Because he's a child. And
I know, I
he
get
was
children
very-
here as young as 7.
He's very sad. You gotta realize.
Okay, he's 16. He's a
loves-
rapper.
he loves-
He's not crawling under a table. I can talk to the guy.
This is the plaintiff, Stacey Otis Kelly. He says he used to work with famous rappers, and he entered into a contract with the defendant and her son to represent and manage his music career. He says he worked 552 hours on the rapper's album, is owed $10,000 and hasn't been paid, and is suing here and now for the money he most definitely deserves. This is the defendant, Candace DeVore Mitchell. She says Joshua, her son, is a rapper who's been number 37 on the hip-hop charts for 5 months, and she and her son signed a piece of paper promising 8% of their profits to him as payment for his services. The album turned out great, and the plaintiff did an amazing job. Problem is, there've been no profits and no payments from the music company. She's desperate to get paid as well, and when and if there are any profits, the plaintiff will get paid too. But he's gonna just have to wait like everyone else. She's accused of cutting a music manager out of the deal. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $10,000 for jewelry and a laptop.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Stacey Otis Kelly.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Joshua Mitchell, Candace Mitchell, and Black Cash Records. You are the CEO of Black Cash Records, and you are Candace Mitchell?
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll be representing everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Suing them for $10,000. You say you're actually out $174,000. And you're suing them for work that you did on a record. They still call them records? Yeah. On an album that, according to you, you have not received any of the profits of. Now, you have an agreement with who? With Candace or
Candace.
with the rapper who's Joshua Mitchell?
Yes, me, Candace, and Joshua entered into a signed.
Is Joshua a minor?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is he?
He's 16.
16, all right.
We entered into a management contract for me to manage his career until he turned 18.
Okay, and how did that come about that how did you folks connect?
When I retired from the music industry before, I moved to Lancaster as a single father. I opened up my own handyman service there, and I was hired to do a job, and
Okay,
so,
and then how were you involved? You said when I retired from the music industry. How were you involved in the music industry?
I worked directly for my nephew, Roscoe.
Forgive my ignorance. Is Roscoe, who is Roscoe? What?
Roscoe is a member of the Dog Pound. That is Corrupt's little brother.
Okay. So you end up speaking with her, and somehow the topic of her son comes up?
Yeah, you know, when you walk into someone's house and you notice photographs, I noticed a photograph of Joshua and Corrupt, and I noticed I'd never
And who's Corrupt again? I'm sorry.
That's Roscoe's brother.
Okay.
I noticed a picture. I said, oh, you know, my nephew. You know, and he's like, we struck up a conversation. He was into the music. Then I noticed he showed me pictures of Candace, Bobby Brown, the Brown family. We just started striking up conversation in general about music.
So during the time he's doing the handyman work, you find out that he's related to
A superstar hip-hop artist, Corrupt of the Dog Pound. And my son had been working with Corrupt, and I wanted him to have more celebrities on his album. And I personally asked Mr. Kelly to please help my son. Mr. Kelly was working with Suge Knight at Death Row Records, and I learned about his history. And I asked him to help take my son, who already had plenty of fans from Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston fans following him. I needed more fans, and I asked him to help with the project. I did, I admit that.
Okay, so when did you guys sign something? How long after
September
that?
7th, 2017.
How long after the work that you did in her house was that? A day,
Probably,
a month, a week?
Probably like 2 weeks, 3
Okay.
weeks.
Do you have the document that the two of you signed?
Yeah.
Can you hand it to my bailiff, please? King, the rapper?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so it's a 2-year contract to receive 8% of all monies and profits. What does that mean? It comes off of the gross?
It's gross. Totally, like the projects that he work on for King, he can get 8% total gross income of every project that he does for King.
For 2 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you embark on this project, and how many months does it take?
Probably 2.5 months.
Okay. And you were really happy with the job that was done, because he brought in all kinds of artists to you to sing with your son, and your son, I'm gonna say, do you have a tape of your son?
Yes, this is my evidence is what Mr. Kelly produced. He made me very happy. I have nothing but great love for this man.
Okay.
I'm very pleased with the product that he gave me. Actually,
Well, he wants to get paid.
yeah, actually, I was hoping that if he sees that I'm not trying to fraud him, that he would come back and
Well,
be.
what ends up happening? You finish the record, and what happens?
Ma'am, I finished the album. In the music industry, most of the time you deal with A&Rs from labels.
What's A&Rs?
Artist repertoire.
Okay.
That's
What's
who,
artist repertoire?
He's the guy that, he's the go-between between the artist and the label.
Okay.
In this particular case, when I first took the position, it was under, like, real bad circumstances. I believe the emails that were provided to me were from who I assume was Stephen, were telling me things such in the reference of King is in bad standing, we've frozen his budget. These things happen in the music industry. When you don't do the things that the industry expects you to do to produce
You've
music.
lost me, because I still have yet to hear. Okay, stop. Did you walk into a situation where he already had a record deal? Is that what you're saying?
That's what that was the.
Did your son have a record deal?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did he have a record deal with?
Famous Universal Music Group.
Okay, and do you have that deal here?
I don't know. I don't think I brought it. I didn't.
What did you bring,
Let me see. Sorry.
other than that fur? So, did you know who he had a record contract with? What do you mean you believe? You're the manager. How do you not know who you're emailing? What are you talking about?
Okay, it's real simple. King then approached me to manage King's career. I then told King that I needed contact information on who I'm supposed to contact at the label. King provided me with numerous emails and phone numbers.
Did you ever call somebody and talk to them?
Yes, I did, numerous times.
Who is the person you spoke to?
Most of the time, I spoke to Camille.
And who is Camille?
At the end, we spoke to Camille, who was Stephen's personal assistant.
Did you ever speak to Stephen?
One time.
Who is Stephen?
Stephen is an A&R COO of Good Music for Kanye West.
Okay, so, what did that person tell you when you talked to him?
Okay, Stephen, the very first email I received was this one, where Stephen explained to me that there was a major problem with King's contract. The relationship with the label and King's mother was rocky. It was a great relationship when King's grandmother had control, who was Blanche. Basically, the email I got back from the label told me that they were very happy. Yeah, everything has Universal on it. We'll get to that.
Well, what is it?
Basically, they're all fraud. They're all fraud.
But
They're
I don't
all-
understand.
they're all
This is, what do you mean they're all frauds?
Stephen says he has no knowledge of King. Stephen also says that the contract that I emailed him with his signature on it is not his signature. That's why Stephen, after I wrote a letter to the CEO of Universal Music Group, Lucien had Stephen contact me directly. After me and Lucien and his assistant.
Okay, so somebody is posing
Correct.
as the real Stephen.
Correct.
And then Stephen
Right.
says, cease and desist contacting me because I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I went
and
to.
wait a minute. So, but why are you suing the mother?
Basically, they brought a contract to me that was.
So you think she's in on it?
Clearly, someone's in on it.
Well, someone's in on it. But you got to prove when you come to court that she's in on it. If you want her to pay you, how much? 10 grand, she's got to be part of the fraud. What is happening with this fraud investigation? What happened?
I really don't know what happened. My son has a distribution deal. He can produce other artists, and he has a record deal that they put his music out. The contracts that I signed is not the kind. What happened was someone got in my son's email. Anybody can hack your email. Someone's got in my son's email and emailed him a new contract, not the one I signed with Universal Music Group, but one I knew nothing about. And basically, they said they would give him. They did promise him, but I never made
They
those
did promise
promises.
him what? He's not suing on some contract with some third party. He's suing on the contract with you that you said you signed.
Well, they promised him that they was going to upfront $200,000. He showed me the email.
Can I see that email? Is that
witnessed
this
it.
email?
It's the truth. But I
Is
never
that this email?
Yeah, no, it's not on that particular
Let me see the email she's talking about.
I
The
believe
promise
Lori.
was made to him, but I never made it.
Okay, but he's still supposed to get. What happened to the album? Because he's still supposed
I
to get.
received no funds from the album.
Who are you supposed to receive funds from?
Universal Music Group.
Who do you talk to in Universal Music Group?
My son signed a record deal with Famous Records, which is a small record label under Universal Music Group.
Why isn't your son here?
Because he's a child.
I know. I
he
get
was
children here as young as 7.
He's very
goes.
sad. You got to realize.
Okay, he's 16. He's
He
a
loves-
rapper.
he loves-
He's not crawling under a table. I can talk to the guy.
I understand.
Where
but
is he right now?
He's in California. He's very sad because this man, he loves him like an uncle. And since he hasn't been around him since he filed the lawsuit, and he's been in really deep depression. And I feel no court case, no music is worth depressing my son. And I just felt that it was the best thing
Is
I
he
could
in
do.
school?
Yes, ma'am.
In where?
He homeschools. He
Who
homeschools.
homeschools him?
His school, Inspire,
Right, but where? And here or there or in California?
in California, ma'am.
California.
He's on the Los Angeles County school tour where he donates his time to perform for children on their lunch break in the LA County school
Do you have?
system.
Can I hear him a little bit? Just while I'm looking through. We have him queued? What is
Yeah,
this?
that's his testimony. He tells you about his record deal. He details it on a radio show that's hot in Las Vegas. And she interviewed King the rapper.
All right, let's try to get to the bottom of this and what's going on. What do you? Go ahead.
Ma'am, Universal denies any knowledge of those contracts. Universal has their own private detective firm inside Universal here in New York and in LA.
Investigating it.
Right.
Because somebody.
What they did in this particular case, because it was such a cluster, that they hired an outside firm, Ryden Security. Ryden flew here from New York to California and came to Candace's home to serve cease and desist orders. I was at home going through my emails trying to find out who has my music and where is my $205,000. So I'm on the phone calling everybody, and I'm doing a whole lot of cussing and fussing. So we hung up the phone. The very next day, me and King are sitting at my kitchen table. The guy calls me up, his supervisor. The supervisor tells me.
These are the people from the
Right
real
in
Universal.
security that
Okay, for the
Universal
security
hired.
firm that Universal
Right.
hired.
He calls me up and he says, hey, the contract that you have, that's not Steven's signature. We've checked it out. Somewhere along the line, boss, I think you've been duped. Now, you seem like a relatively decent guy.
I understand. So you already have that contract that I'm asking her for. She did give it to you. And you showed that contract to the security firm. And the
Correct.
security firm says that's a fraud.
Correct.
So why do you
It's a
think
good
she's
fraud.
in? I understand. Why do you think she's in on it then?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, is the music business honorable or shady?
Shady.
Why do you say?
Because it's somebody always trying to get to the top, so they're going to step on whoever they can to get to the top.
Why is that any different from any other profession?
Well, it always is. Everyone's trying to get to the top.
No matter what the profession.
No matter what.
Is the music business especially shady?
Yes,
Why do you say?
because they can diss anyone in any song and it will be produced on the radio and anybody can listen to it.
Never thought of it that way. It's a Taylor Swift syndrome, isn't it?
Yes.
Gotcha. Going inside the courtroom.
That sounds like she got defrauded. Like
No.
she got defrauded.
No. No.
Well, no, you can't just say no. Explain to me how she's not defrauded when she's handing you the contract and then it turns out the very thing she thinks she has, she doesn't have.
In 2000, the contract.
Where's the music? Is anybody playing the music somewhere out there? Like, where's the
Absolutely
music?
not. I put cease and desist orders on everything.
No, but was somebody playing the music?
Yeah.
Where
They-
were you hearing the music?
Spotify, iTunes,
Okay,
all
well,
digital
who
release.
sold it to Spotify, iTunes, etc.?
Exactly. So.
Stop. How did it get on Spotify and iTunes?
He's the one that put it
I mean,
on.
she can. Am I to believe that she put it on Spotify? Because I'm kind of not. You know what I mean? There's something at a higher level working, but it sounds to me like you were both duped. Why would I make her pay you?
No, that's
You can't just say, "Oh, I know she's getting money. She's got to be getting money." Is that a real fur or fake fur?
It's real.
When'd you get that?
It was a gift from my husband, Richard.
When did he get that for you?
He bought it for me about 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Ooh, that's interesting. Are those jewels around your neck real?
No, they're costume jewelry.
And what about those hoops on your ear?
Costume jewelry.
Okay. What? No. Okay. Let me see the fur. I want to see the fur. What you got to do is you've got to get evidence, because without evidence, you're going to end up with butt piss. You have to hire an investigator, or you have to be a little more patient and let the police do the investigation. But you come in here with zero. I want to see that. Hold on a second. Yes, it is. Okay. Rapper mom. Did you get any money? You're under oath, you know that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you received any money whatsoever from this album?
From you? No, I haven't.
Has your son received any money whatsoever from this album?
Not as far as I know, no. Not
Well,
at all.
have you asked him?
No, it would come to me. It hasn't
Right,
came
he's
to
in
me.
mine. Yeah. I'm going to do you a favor that you don't realize I'm doing. I'm going to dismiss this case without prejudice for you to bring it at a future time should you develop any evidence that they were in on some fraud that induced you to work on an album that you weren't going to get paid on. All right. Now, as for your counterclaim against him for $10,000, what's that about?
Actually, my daughter had some rings, and I was keeping them for her. And I let King use it, my child, to do his photo shoot.
Meaning what? He pawned them?
Stacy and King decided together to pawn them, but King is a child, so Stacy should have asked me, his parent, first.
So he's got to pay for it?
The rings ended up in the pawn shop. I said, would you please go get them out so it don't develop into a problem, because they do not belong to me. That is stealing from my daughter. That is her right. And I was holding them for her. I let my son use them. My son is a child. A child can be easily talked into anything by an adult.
Yeah.
So I am responsible for giving it to my son. My son is responsible for giving it to Stacy.
Where are the rings right this
Inside the
second?
Los Angeles County pawn shop, and the police department, LA County Police Department, has a hold on $15,000 worth of diamond at the pawn shop.
Okay.
Stacy couldn't pull them out with his ID unless you give her a release for the police to do it. They told me I had to get a release from the judge.
Yeah,
All
I got a
right,
problem
we'll work
with that.
out. But as to the rest of the $10,000 for pain and suffering and all this other ridiculous stuff, no, that's not going to happen. I think he's been through plenty of pain and suffering himself. So your case is dismissed without prejudice for you to bring it back should anybody's investigation reveal actual collusion on their part. And your case against him, I am going to resolve it by issuing an order that will absolve. We'll figure it out with the police department so that it can go ahead, and we have him on under oath here saying I lay no claim to them. So we'll work that out so you can get your ring.
Thank you.
I
so
didn't
much.
necessarily
Good
say
luck,
that.
folks.
She owes me money.
Hold on, both sides, please.
Well, the judge has just done the plaintiff a favor here. Do you realize she did you a favor?
Not
You
really.
didn't have any proof. That's the point is.
Plenty of proof. I got a contract from Universal Music Group dated 2015. I took a contract in
You
2017.
can't prove she got the money, though. You can't
she
prove
got
that.
it.
Whoa, you're going the wrong way. That's the wrong way.
She got it.
You think she got it?
Yeah.
Think so? Well, that's what the plaintiff thinks. I couldn't explain. Step on out here. He thinks you got the money. Maybe that's why you got the fur coat. Is that possible?
No,
you
I
are
don't have
laughing
the money.
here.
I don't have the money. I think the judge made a very fair decision. She's an excellent judge, and I'm very happy with the outcome.
I know you are. Let me ask you a quick question. He's still the manager of your son, right?
If he
and
comes-
for the album. And if the album does sell and make money, he's going to get his portion of it.
Yes, sir.
But there's an obvious dispute between the two of you here. He thinks you stole it from him.
I didn't steal anything from him. I'm not guilty. And he didn't have the right to take my son's music off of radio.
Well,
so that's a crime in itself.
Sounds to me like your son's career is over with him. Would that be right?
I hope not.
You don't know?
I think he was
Okay.
excellent
All right.
because
Good
he's
luck.
still going to produce music.
Okay, good
Thank
luck.
you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hope you get your rings back. Thank you. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, just so you know, the reason the judge was so interested in the defendant's fur was that she was trying to figure out if she was getting money from her son's albums. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Jonathan Mamone. He says he's a professional walker who walks 15 miles a day, and one day a few months ago he had an accident. He tripped over the defendant's raised and uneven concrete sidewalk, injuring his knees and cutting up his hands and face. The cops and an ambulance were called. The defendant's responsible for keeping his sidewalk in good condition, and he's owed $2,000. So he's suing. This is the defendant, Maxwell Taub. He says the plaintiff has no case. The guy tripped and is trying to pin the blame of his uncoordination on his sidewalk, which is in perfectly good shape. Oh, this faker money? No way. He's accused of being uneven.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case from the docket. The plaintiff is a professional walker who says that he was badly injured because the defendant's sidewalk wasn't level. And the defendant says the guy just tripped. It's the case of you're not on the level.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Okay. Jonathan Mamone, you are suing Maxwell Taub for $2,000 in pain and suffering plus punitive damages because, according to you, you tripped over a sidewalk that was his responsibility to maintain. Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, on May 16, like every other day, I go for a brisk walk. Next to his, in front of his house.
According to your complaint, you've been walking for 35 years, 10 to 15 miles a day?
More, sometimes more.
Really?
When I started, maximum I did is 38 miles a day.
How does it take you to walk that? Because I'm a power walker. That's what I do.
4.5 to 4.25 miles per hour. Walk very fast.
Okay, all right. So anyway, you're walking in front of where he lives.
Up to his house, the sidewalk was clear. Everything is flat and flash and fluid. Very nice. I got to his house. I tripped so bad on my right leg. I fell on my right knee. I fell on my face. And I was stunned by the surprise. I was bleeding on my face. So as I got up, the defendant came out of the house to see what is the...
Were you yelling or anything? How did you know something was going on outside?
I didn't. What I did is I opened the door to retrieve my newspaper.
Okay, so it was a coincidence.
And just by coincidence, he was standing there when I went to get the paper.
Okay. And did you see that he was hurt?
I saw he was standing there looking sort of dazed, and he seemed to have blood on his shirt and a little blood on his head. But I didn't see him fall. I came out.
Right. And so
after.
did you say to him, oh, what happened? Like, were you trying to help him? What happened while you were out there?
No, I went up to him to see what had happened, and we chatted a couple of minutes. And then he started yelling, I'm going to sue, I'm going to sue.
Ah.
So then I turned around and I went back in the house.
Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile...
Were you there?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you know about this?
Oh, he fell, and he called...
You didn't see it happen, though, either, right?
No, I saw him sitting on the ground.
Okay.
And he called the police and an ambulance. And when the police and the ambulance came, they came out, I went out, and they said, oh, you again.
Oh, you again.
And there's no lifting of the sidewalk.
Well, let's see. Do you folks have pictures of the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see your pictures of the sidewalk.
Your Honor, may I make a correction?
Yeah, first I want to see a picture of this. Is this a picture of the sidewalk?
That's the rise, yes. That's the rise.
There's a little cement there where we filled it in.
Yeah, but that's kind of lifted. That's pretty lifted right there. Is that the tree root? Are you kidding me? You guys know it's lifted because, and you know that New York law, like many communities, requires you to fix the city sidewalks in front of your own home. You know that's the law, right? You do because you took a little cement and slapped it there, and How many inches is that?
2
inches?
Yes, 2 inches
Guys,
high.
that's not okay. I know it's more expensive to hire somebody with a jackhammer to jackhammer that, jackhammer the root, and lay it down. I know because I've had to do it. But 2 inches is not okay. And the city has never told you guys, hey, you have to fix that. They should really be on top of that. Wow, 2 inches. Now, the ambulance came, and you did not go in the ambulance, correct?
No.
According to the report, you refused medical attention, but that really means you say to them, I'm not going with you.
I'm not going to the hospital.
So
yes.
did you go to any doctor?
No, I don't know. I don't need another aid because if I go, I get a bunch of X-rays. With my disease, lymphoma, I don't need it.
Okay. So tell me about your injuries. You're suing for $2,000. Tell me about your injuries.
So if there's a 2-inch difference on the sidewalk, is that unreasonable?
I think that whoever tripped and fell should look where they're going, or they are too old to be walking.
Wow, that is harsh. Holy smokes.
No, I think that it's a responsible owner's responsibility to fix the crack in the,
So 2 inches is unreasonable?
Absolutely.
What do you say, sir? You're going to be the tiebreaker.
Yes, 2 inches is unreasonable.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
I got my hands almost paralyzed with 2 hands. My nose was bleeding. My knee was hurt.
Okay, hold on one second. Here's a picture of your knee, but there's a lot of glare. It's hard for me to see it.
The right knee.
Right, that's the shine of the flash?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of need to see the actual injury. Okay, here's a picture of your nose.
That's after the bleeding stopped.
Okay, did you need stitches or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Now, I didn't feel any bones broken, so I refused all medical attention except compression. I went home, and I took care of myself. I had to
do you have any proof that you had to go on pain medicine or anything?
No, they were told me on the phone what to do, and that's it. If I don't want to take X-rays, I don't want to go to orthopedics, I don't want cortisone injections, that's the way to do it.
So what is the way to do? Tylenol? What? What did they tell you to do? Nothing?
No medication. I don't take medication. I said hot compression, massage, exercise.
Do you have any bills for massages?
No, massage I do myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else you folks wanted to say?
Well, we were told that we couldn't make the sidewalk level because we'd kill the tree.
Okay.
The tree
I don't know who
belongs-
told you that, but that is false, okay? And if you do, then the city's not going to get you in trouble because you have an obligation to fix that right, and that is not fixed right. And you could understand that because if we had sidewalks where nobody was taking care of whether people would fall, we would live in a kind of a tough place to live in. Nobody could walk their dogs, nobody could walk. That is your responsibility. There is no question that you are liable. The question is liable for how much. Now, basically, I am kind of on my own to decide what the pain and suffering is worth. There was no extra medication over it. I am going to find in your favor in the amount of $500. That is my verdict. Good luck, folks.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Did you get the police report and an ambulance?
No, I don't care about the police report. The police don't decide my judgment. I do.
So the plaintiff prevails, but he doesn't get nearly what he was seeking. Mr. Taub, if you'd step over here, sir. I can't believe you didn't think you guys were responsible for that. The pictures made it pretty obvious, you know. The judge had no problem thinking you were at fault here.
He is a serial suer. An ambulance came, the police came. They said, "Oh, you again." Each one of them.
Oh, well,
The police
look, he convinced the judge just with the picture that you guys were on the hook for this.
Oh, that's...
You're lucky that she didn't give him what he asked for,
We're in the house
$2,000.
62 years, nobody ever fell.
Oh, well, you weren't there when
But
it
you know
happened.
what? He sat down and
Okay.
he banged himself. I did see that. He banged his knee.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, you lost the case.
I know.
Beg your pardon.
But he's got a record.
I'll ask him. Mr. Maimon, you are lucky you won what you did. You didn't have enough, step over here for me. You didn't have enough evidence to prove you needed $2,000.
If you were me, you wouldn't go to the doctor.
Why?
Because with the lymphoma, you don't want to introduce medications and other things. You don't want to do that.
What about what she just said, that you're a serial suer? Is that true?
No, the police wasn't there at all.
All right.
And she was complaining
Well,
No,
you know, I'm impressed with 38 miles a day. You still doing that?
No, 30 miles. I do 15, 20, 15, 17.
And how old are you?
80.
80. 15 miles a day. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations for winning the case. Sorry you didn't get what you wanted.
There was
but-
nobody winning over here.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you there. All right, thank you very much. Hope you feel better. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, well, it doesn't have to be so level that you need a machine, and if the machine shows it's in any way off, the homeowner's responsible, but 2 inches is unreasonable. That's why the defendant's responsible. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Francia Acosta. She says she agreed to rent an apartment with her disabled son from the defendant, signed the lease, and was ready to move in. The defendant, however, told her she couldn't move in because of her son, which he knew about from the very beginning. When he started up, she told him to give her back her full deposit, but he's refusing, and there's no way she's going to let him keep her hard-earned $1,765, so she's suing. This is the defendant, Martin Kalaji. He says it was the plaintiff who changed her mind about moving into the apartment, not him, and he owes her nothing. He lost 3 months of rent with this woman and all her drama, and if anyone here in this courtroom is owed money, it's certainly not the plaintiff. He's accused of being cruel to a kid.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff agreed to rent an apartment with her disabled son, but then the defendant said she couldn't move in with the son, and now he won't return her security. The defendant says the plaintiff's the one who changed her mind. It's the case of don't be cruel.
Thank you, Douglas. Francia?
Yes.
Francia Acosta, you are suing Martin Kalaji?
Kalaji.
Okay, for $1,765 in a security deposit plus a bounce check fee. Because he never ended up letting you move into the apartment, according to you. You say she changed her mind. Let me hear from you. Tell me what happened.
This is the way it started. I was living at 20 Madison, and I had to move from there because they had to sell the house. So at the end of my terminal list, I told the landlord that I needed to look fast for an apartment. So I started looking, and I found in the penny saver this gentleman, and they were fixing the apartment. So I gave him $1,000. So I told him to give me a receipt, and this is what he gave me.
Good, okay.
And right away, I sent a letter to my Section 8 housing and said that I wasn't gonna stay there, that I already found a place in Ridge. So this is the paper, the proof that
Okay, but did he know that you were Section 8?
Yes.
Okay, so you knew that she was Section 8?
Yes, I did.
And so you were working with Section 8 to do the inspection or whatever else would have been necessary?
That is correct.
Okay, so go on. Now,
So-
Section 8 is government assistance in your rent?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just gave him $1,000, and then with the process, I gave him $700.
Okay.
And the thing is that when I met him for the first time, I told him that I had a disabled son, that he's bipolar, and he's very sick. And he agreed.
Is he on medication?
Yes, he is.
Okay. How old is your son?
He's 24 right now.
Okay.
So he agreed that it's not gonna be no problem. It was gonna be my son and I moving in. So after they did all the paperwork, inspection had to be done in the place. And the inspection didn't pass. I have proof for that.
Okay, and then what happens?
And then after that, it took like 3 months, 2 months for papers work and
How many months from the time that you wanted to move in to the time that everything happened? How many months did Section 8 take?
It was a while.
That wasn't my question. I know it was a while. That's why I'm asking specifically how many months.
It was from
3 months?
March, May, and June.
Well, what happened in April?
In April. So
Okay.
it's that's the way it went.
That's yeah, I know,
So
but that's
the thing is-
I've seen how it works. That's the longest I've ever heard it take. So anyway, what happens? Go ahead.
So when everything got fixed, then another second inspection was done. The second inspection was done, and he passed.
And
So
that inspection took place on what day?
It's probably in June.
Okay.
So the inspection passed. He said he started wondering about my son. how is your son? He started asking me when everything was done, all the paper was done, that I was ready to move in. I'm here happy that I was gonna move in. And then he comes like, how's your son? You think it's a good idea that he moves in because like he's bipolar. You know, bipolar is people that they could be too happy and they could be very angry. So he started questioning me about my son, and I told him the truth. And I told him that when he's low on medication, he could be very angry, but he's a sweet boy and he a man because he's already a man, and he's a very clean person as I am, and we take care of our place. I used to live in a house, and I used to, when my son used to.
And then what happened when you told him?
He said that he's gonna talk to the commission.
To who?
The commission. I don't know what commission.
What's the commission?
That's what you call the board of directors that we have out there in the condos.
Oh, okay.
Because we didn't want any violence or anything.
Well, does he have any history of violence?
From what she told me, she said he was locked up once or twice. He puts holes in the walls, and we were
But
really
when did you learn all that?
After about 2 months, it started coming forward.
Right, but then so why do you go through all that effort for
Because
4
I liked
solid
her,
months?
Because I liked her. I thought she would have made a great tenant.
So what changed your mind when the paperwork was finally
because
approved?
of the violence and stuff like that.
Right, but if you change your mind, I understand you changing your mind. You know, like, I mean, I don't know. Was there a lease in place at that point?
No.
All right.
No lease.
You know, but then why not return her money?
I did. I returned $1,500 of it, and then I stopped payment because we had a little bit of a hissy. And she says, "I'm going to take you to court for the $250." So I said, "You might as well take me for the court for the whole $1,750."
And then you went out and stopped payment on it.
And I stopped paying.
And so now she's suing you for $1,750 plus $15 of a stop payment fee.
That is correct. Yeah.
So can a landlord deny somebody the right to rent because of a disability?
I don't think it's right, and
But can they?
they can. It's their right to, but personally, I don't think it's right.
Fair enough. Can they?
I don't think they can. I mean,
Can they do it on race? Could they do it on race?
No.
So can they do it on disability? That's the question.
No.
That's what we're going to find out. Going inside the courtroom.
I thought the amount of $1,500 would have been fair to her by going back and forth with the $250 because there was a lot of going back and forth.
Yeah, but why wouldn't it be fair if you're the one changing your mind because you thought better of it or whatever, or the board or whatever?
Because I didn't know he was violent towards his mom and stuff like that afterwards.
When did you?
We learned that about maybe 2 months into it. And she says, "I don't want to cause you any problems with my son."
Right, so she couldn't have been more forthright.
No,
so
she
why,
couldn't.
So then why wouldn't you just return her money then?
Because at that point I lost a couple of months' rent because
I
guess it was
understand,
my
but
stupidity.
you see, here's the thing. She's incredibly forthright. You all work towards the goal for 2 more months. You don't tell her, "Listen, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Let's quit it, and I'll just go rent this out to somebody different." None of that happens. 2 months later, after you sat on the information for 2 months, you go, "You know what? Now that it's actually going to happen, I'm kind of worried. You know what? Never mind." And then you don't return all her money. How would that be fair? You know what? I don't know why I keep asking the rhetorical question. The answer is that it's not fair. It's not. So return the entire. Now it's $1,750 plus a $15 in security deposit and bank check fee. So verdict for the plaintiff, $1,765.
Well, I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but the plaintiff has won the case. You waited to take me to court. She took you to court. She won. You are going to have to pay. After all.
Yeah, after all, hey, listen, that's why we have judges.
Yep. But
Right?
you could have given her the money back. Don't you think it would have been fair?
It would have been fair, but, I gave it most back. I gave except $250 back. I thought it was being more than fair. I lost 3 months' rent, regardless of whatever anybody
That was
says.
on you.
Well, not really. It was a lot more drama involved. Okay?
Sorry about that. Okay. You got to go. Thank you. Here comes Ms. Acosta now, if you'll step out here. Well, it's a shame you had to go through court to do this. The real story is what has happened since. How's your son? Where are you living? You're okay?
Thanks God, my son is doing much better.
Yeah? Okay.
But right now, I don't have a place to live yet.
You're still looking?
Yes, I'm still looking.
Well, good luck. I hope you find one
Thank
soon.
you.
Okay? Thank you very much. Okay? Harvey, interesting case. What do you think?
Okay, Doug, so there is a federal Fair Housing Act which prohibits landlords all across the country from refusing to rent to somebody because of a disability, or even refusing to rent to somebody if there is another person in the family coming in who has a disability. It is against the law.
Don't text and drive. The People's Court is a Ralph Edwards, Stu Billett production.